Unless specifically indicated otherwise, the content expressed are my views only and not necessarily those of Life Pro Asset Management, LLC. The content presented is in no way an investment advice, solicitation, or an offer to sell securities or investment advisory services. The material is provided for general information and educational purposes based upon publicly available information from sources believed to be reliable. I cannot assure the accuracy or completeness of these materials. As such, the information in these materials may change at any time without notice. Reference to these discussions about IULs and annuities are fixed insurance products. Investments on fixed insurance products are different from investments in the stock market. Any guarantees provided by a fixed insurance product cannot be assumed to be guaranteed for any other investment.
Welcome to the Rock My Finances show on K4HD Radio and Talk4 TV, where we put the fun in finance. Join Powerhouse Jennifer Joseph, CDFA, CMC, and Private Wealth Advisor, as she collaborates with you to create clarity, control, and confidence with your money, your way. It's not about the zeros, so what is it all about? Let's find out. Now here's your host and weekly friend, Jennifer Joseph.
Hey y'all, I'm here. Happy day. I have been dying to do this amazing podcast for so long, and now we're at a radio show. We're live. We're going to have a really good time. So I hope you continue to join me each week. And we are going to talk about money. We are going to talk about our finances in a real, authentic way. So it's going to be a little bit different than you've heard out there in the financial industry. First of all, that's all masculine. I'm feminine. So we are going to talk about money from the woman's perspective. And we're going to have great questions and insights and tips and tricks that you can put into practice on a daily basis. First and foremost, thank you for your time. There is a million podcasts, and I think it's growing daily, and you are giving me your time right now. So I just want to say thank you so much. Each week is going to be completely different with coaching, personal coaching, and finance, and tips and tricks about money, and interviewing amazing guests. And we're just going to have great conversations. So I hope you tell your friends and join us on a regular basis. So with that said, I've been so excited to introduce one of my colleagues, my very good friend, my colleague. If I get hit by a bus, she takes over everything. She's just a part of the family, and I'm really, really, really excited to have Miss Juliette Cardona here. If you'll see her thing on the show notes, and you'll be able to go and follow her and check her out. But we're going to get into some real conversation. She's also a financial advisor, a wealth specialist in generational wealth. She's an heir. She knows what money for many years now. She's been helping thousands of clients, making sure that they're doing the right thing with their money. So we're just going to have some real conversations about what it's like to be in the industry, to sit in front of people, and to actually be able to help them a little bit and change their lives on a daily basis. So without further ado, I am going to bring Miss Juliette Cardona on with me here today.
Hello. Great to see
gal.
you. It's not very often I get to see you in screen or in person. So it's great to have you, me
right?
Here.
It's so awesome. I love it. So it's here. We've been talking about this for so long and so many years, and it's finally here. So I'm pretty excited. So tell me the first thing, Miss Juliette, what did you spend money on this last week that brought you joy?
Yes. Well, that's a good question. I think I would actually have to say it's one of the little things in life. For me, I purchased a new Yeti just for my meetings. I'm even using it today. It's my business
color
colors.
Is it? Yellow?
Yep, it's yellow, sunshine yellow. So every morning when I make my cup of tea or fill it up with water, like for right now, it just gives me a little more pep in my step. And hey, if I stick a logo on there, I think that's a deductible expense. So,
I love it. Even though we're not tax specialists. So we both have the same compliance officer. So we are not going to freak Scott out by any means by talking about anything that we're not supposed to during our wonderful show here. So that's awesome. Okay, cool. And so then let's take that next step further. When you go to purchase something that you know you're going to enjoy, do you have like a regular process that you go through, or is it a gut feeling, small like a Yeti, or something large with a couple $1,000s, like anything like that? Do you have like a process or anything?
That's a great question. I would say it depends kind of on what I'm shopping for. If it's some bigger ticket item like a car or furniture or something like that, I definitely put a lot of thought into that up front. I want to make sure it brings me joy. If it's a smaller purchase, I may be a little more flippant with my decision making. So, yeah, something like a Yeti, I saw it, I liked the color. I was in the market for one. I was on vacation, so it's a nice little memory to pick something up, support local businesses, and then also have something that I'm using daily. But yeah, I think, when we're doing the bigger purchases, looking at what it what is the purpose behind why we're spending that money is really important, especially because the more money we're spending, usually there's some upkeep involved in that, or maybe we're saying, hey, maybe it wasn't the best month ever in business. So is it going to affect me, right? But again, if it's a small purchase, it's not something that I think we need to stress out over when it's just a Yeti. But it's a great question. I like digging deeper into that and talking more about how to prioritize our spending, and where should we be putting that energy versus what are things we can kind of let go of more, and not stress out about those
I
dollars
love
that we're
that. I
spending.
love that. In fact, we talked earlier about this often, and this is one of the myths that we were going to bust, right? We were going to bust this myth um, of having millions of dollars in order to retire. And so, since we're both financial advisors and planners, a lot of people come to us to say, when can I retire? Tomorrow, yesterday, next year? And some of them are kind of far away, and some of them could have retired already, and they're just
Yeah.
too worried about it. So, what is one of the myths that you see out there with a lot of people that come to you in the very beginning? What are they thinking? And then what is reality?
Yeah, I think that's a really good place to start. I mean, most people who come through my door are nervous. Sometimes they're even scared to look under the covers and find out the answer to the question, when can I retire? Or the scary question of, can I even retire ever? Right. So it's a very vulnerable place for someone to be in. And especially trusting people like you and I with their finances is a big step. So initially, when somebody comes in our door, what I'm wanting to find out is what's important to them when it comes to retirement, because I think that's the biggest misconception that we have, is that we have to have millions of dollars in the bank just to retire. And I think then, on the flip side of that, you see headlines, 40-year-olds retire in Mexico, off of their wages, not from family money or something like that. And we're flipped with this two sides of the coin of, I want this lifestyle, maybe similar to the one I have now, when we have all those questions around it, like, what is that going to cost? But it's important for you and I, right, to take those clients higher level and thinking about, what is it that you want? What is retirement to you? I mean, are we taking extravagant vacations, or is it a more simple life? Because those are two completely different things that we can evaluate, right? It's a very different uh, type of plan that we're building. So it's hard to figure that out. And then on top of it, when we add in current events in the media, right, it can get even more complicated, right? We hear about inflation every day right now, every time we open a news app, right? And if you look at our US debt clock, which you can access, just the usdebtclock.com, it's a scary thing, right? You can sit there and it's worse than watching like a gambler gamble away all their savings. I mean, it just goes and it adds up. And you're thinking, when are we going to start paying that back? And how is that going to affect my portfolio or my lifestyle?
Yeah, that's
I'm not sure
great,
I totally
Juliet.
answered that question, but
You
I think it
totally
depends,
did.
right? Depends. Where are we going? What are we building?
Yeah, for sure. Like
And that
we
comes
have
down
to
to the
know
individual.
we have to know where we're starting from. Like you hit it right, nail on the
Absolutely.
head. Like that was totally perfect. That was totally perfect. We also have our engineer Juan here. So Juan, thank you so much for getting us gals all set up. So we're typing on the chat here, and I don't know if you can pull up the U.S. debt clock, but if you can, it's usdebtclock.com, and it kind of shows how we are adding our debt up all the time continuously. So we don't know what's going to happen 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. Of course, we believe that taxes could possibly definitely go up. And again, Scott, that's just an opinion. We're not CPAs. And so that seems to be scary for a lot of people. And for us as advisors in the industry, I think that is one of the myths that are out there, that we were going to be paying the same amount of taxes that we are now in retirement. And it's just most likely, in other words, I can't say guaranteed, but pretty much it's going to be going up, and we just don't know when and how. So I love that point that you mentioned. And then something that you mentioned earlier, Juliet, you mentioned wants and needs, right? So we have, that's what we both do together. We make sure that our clients have their basic needs set, which is food, housing, and medical. So that is your basic needs that you must have before you go to retire. And then the travel and the golfing and the fishing, and do I sell this house and move, scale down? Do I move out of state? Do I move in with my children? Do I get to go big? Do I buy 2 houses? I have a client that just bought one in California and one in Washington. We've got the snowbirds, right? There's lots of questions that we can help people answer. And so when we take into consideration everything that's happening and where they're at and where they really want to go, I want to jump into the word lifestyle, because it's really about how we feel. The F word. I love the F word. Right now it's feeling. And
I love it.
Love it, right? And then feeling about our financial freedom. How far away is it? How close is it really? Do you know? If you don't, we, of course, as planners, recommend getting a plan so that you know and you're not stressed out. And we also take into consideration what type of lifestyle do you want in retirement. I know that in the masculine world of finance, basically what we've been taught years and years and years is find out where they're at, find out where they want to go, and help them get there. Well, there's much more to it than just that. We actually talk about the F word, the feelings. How does it feel where you're at now? How's it going to feel when you reach where you want to go? So where do you want to really go? So that brings me to my next question, Miss Juliet.
Fire away.
Right? What is financial freedom to you?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. And I actually have had a lot of clients ask me that over the years. And so for me, I think the best way to describe it is it's waking up in the morning and having the choice. Do I go to work and earn a paycheck that day, or do something that earns revenue? Or can I, choose to stay in and read a book on the couch? To me, that's true financial independence, right? But not only that, I think there's another layer to that. And it goes back to that F word, that feeling, the feeling of, making that decision from a place of abundance, but also peace, where it's not greedy abundance. It's not hoarding. Maybe it is $2 million you've saved up or something. It's not hoarding that either and being afraid to go out and spend it. It's truly having some peace. And I think that's the foundation of truly having financial independence, because as you alluded to and touched on earlier, we have clients who walk through the door who are already financially independent, but they don't realize it, or they don't believe it. Even if you see the numbers on paper and somebody has told you you have the freedom to spend X amount a month, there's a huge difference between having somebody tell you that and having you believe that and having that freedom to truly spend, right? So I think that's what financial freedom means to me. Knowing my family's taken care of regardless of whether I go and earn that paycheck today.
Yeah, I love that. Totally love that. And I love the word independence. So freedom equals independence to me as well. Like I totally agree with you on that. Do we choose the day that we get to choose? Do I want to go to work today? Do I want to get up? Do I want to continue? Or can I do whatever I want? Yeah, that's totally freedom. That's great. That's great. Now, and then the F word again, we can feel that today. We don't have to wait for those millions in the bank, right? It's not about the zeros, ladies and gentlemen. Rock My Finances, it's not about the zeros. It's about the F word. It's about your feeling about the zeros. So do you feel free right now? Do you feel independent right now? What is stopping you?
Right.
And what's holding you back from taking that next greatest step in your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So where to
Oh, great
start
question.
with finding that out? My next question, Juliet, I love it.
Let's do it.
What would you say to money if money walked into the room right now?
Oh, one of my favorite questions. And it changes every day. Today, I think I would say, hey, is there more of you? Like, is it some email campaign I sent out? Like, what made you come through the door today? Right. So to me, I'm coming from a place of what did I do to cause you to show up for me? Right. It shouldn't be so much from lacking, more of that. I know we've been working hard as business owners do. And I know with that effort, it always shows up, right? So I think I'd be like, hey, good to see you. Did you bring your cousin?
Yeah. Good to see you. Go get your family.
Yeah, are you a twin? Is he behind the door too?
That's awesome. That's totally awesome. I love that. You touched on the fact of being a business owner. I'm going to pivot over here to entrepreneurship.
Oh, yeah.
Now, we have decades between us and years for sure. And I've been working with
Perhaps.
Juliet for a very long time now, many years. And I love her. I love the way she is a go-getter. She's so intelligent. She's taught me a lot. I know that we complain about millennials when we're old as us because we don't have the same respect for our own time that you have shown me to do as well.
Mm.
And I love it. I'm so fortunate and grateful and appreciate you in my life and you in my business life and you in my personal life and you in my family life. And you've taught me a lot. And I want to ask, being a woman entrepreneur,
Yeah.
give me some maybe pros and cons. What do you think? How's this ride? How's this roller coaster ride been for you?
Huh. That's a great question. I think first of all, I truly love being a business owner. If you had asked me, I mean, actually, I can go back to a moment in college, sitting in one of my senior seminar classes with an entrepreneurial major. I was like, "What is that? You're going to go start businesses, I'm guessing." And talking with him about his coursework, and I was sitting on the right next to him, and we were friends, and I'm going, what do you do with that? Do you like take companies like public? Like what is an entrepreneur? And then in the back of my head going, God, I could never be an entrepreneur. I could never do that. That's just not for me. It's too much risk, too much skin in the game, maybe. And now, I mean, fast forward, how old am I? I'm about to be 31. So roughly almost 10 years later, right? I'm standing here going, hey, this is the best thing. I encourage so many people to become a business owner if they're in a position where they can take their skill sets elsewhere. I think there's so many perks to being a business owner, not only on the financial side of choosing your retirement plan, choosing how you do those taxes, which we won't get into, but right? I mean, do we itemize? Do we not? And then every so often the administration changes the script on us, right? But I see business owners as being, we're more subject to things in the marketplace, but we also have more control. And I don't think that's something that I realized going through school, choosing a major, picking a path. And for me, entrepreneurship found me. And you're part of the reason why. I get to give you a lot of credit for that, actually. As I'm sure our listeners don't know, you are actually the reason that I jumped into this profession with a little bit of confidence, or a lot some days. And the truth was, you told me, well, first you told me you changed my life, and I kind of balked at you, right? It's like, how's this lady going to change my life? You don't even know me. And you did. I got to give you credit for that. You changed my life in that interview. So the backstory for everyone who's listening is that Jennifer was one of the advisors who had interviewed me when I first started my financial planning practice back in 2015. And she definitely not only changed my life in that conversation of just propping me up and making me realize that people needed me. It wasn't really, I don't think you approached it from a decision so much of, what can the profession do for me as much as what I could do for people. And I think you knew me well enough in that first meeting to know that that's what mattered to me, and realizing that I was among company who is setting out to do things, to the best of their ability for their clients, rang a bell that was like coming home for me. I didn't want to have that stigma of going into a sales profession, and selling people things. I wanted to bring people through my door and find out what matters to them, and how can I offer them something that not only meets their needs, but where I'm helping them take that next step. And somehow, I don't even know what words you use beyond the feeling, right? But you got me to understand that in a quick, half an hour interview. For me, that's what told me, what, I got to figure out this entrepreneur business, because that's the best way to go about helping all of these people who you convinced me existed and needed my help.
I love
you're
it.
right. You've been more than right than I could ever imagine. And with recent events, with the coronavirus and everybody getting stuck inside and worrying about estate plans and investments and watching the market do all these different things, right? We had an M and an N and a K and all these different alphabet soups. It made me really realize how important it is that we touch those lives and that we're out there, being the entrepreneurs, right? It's a huge, what do I want to say, gift.
Yeah,
to
that's
be able
perfect.
to help people.
Yeah, it is a huge gift. And I'm so glad you said that. I didn't know all that. So thank you for sharing. Being a woman in the financial, I've been an entrepreneur for over 30 something years, even though I'm 29. It's amazing. I'm magic.
Always.
And I love it because I have raised my kids, and
Yeah.
I was able to have control over my schedule, and I was able to make it to drop kids off at school, pick them up, go to, the sports after, the gymnastics, the gym, the diving team, the football. I was able to make it to, because I controlled my schedule. Now, did that mean I worked a lot? Yeah, I worked on Saturdays. Sometimes even now I even take a call on Sunday. But that's my choice, because now I'm an empty nester and my cats don't care if it's Saturday or Sunday or Monday. So now I can work as I please and when it feels really good. And so to me, being an entrepreneur is just amazing. And it is one of the largest growth experiences, personal growth, personal development that I believe that you'll ever go through. So being an entrepreneur, being able to control your own schedule, when you're going to work, when you're going to get out of bed, when you're not, who you're going to talk to today, and then having the confidence to share your thoughts and skills and time with someone. Sometimes we don't always feel like we're in a great mood, and we still have that appointment. We still have that person to help.
Yeah.
And sometimes we don't feel great about ourselves. It could be anything. As women, oh my goodness, it could be our weight. It could be the clothes. It could be what I ate last night. It could be the bowl of pasta I feel guilty about. Like, it could be anything, right? So doing that as a woman and pushing ourselves anyways, and men do this as well, right? I'm sure they're not feeling gung-ho every single day when they're an entrepreneur. So being in that spot, how do you keep going? How do you decide to pick up the phone and call someone, go to that appointment, go to a networking event? Like I just moved to Beverly Hills like a week and a half ago. Woohoo! I love it. It's been so fun.
Living the dream.
Living the dream. I am definitely living the freedom for sure. And so I went to a chamber event and it was so fun. It was the evening with the mayor. Such a blast. I haven't been networking with the chamber mixer in years, and it was so fun. So how do you continue to keep going, finding new things? You've been in the industry for a long time now. Keep it fresh and new and exciting for you. How do you push yourself?
Great question. I think it changes every so often. I don't want to say daily so much as I think one of the biggest things, so I'll take one quick step back actually. This year, I moved my practice to be completely independent of any firms So I am commuting to my home office every day. It's a drag. You never know if there's going to be an accident, on the 580
Down the
from
hall.
the
Okay.
bedroom down the hall, right? Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. But you get where I'm going, right? It's a different shift. And we lived 100% at home for some time there in 2020. At least I did personally. And there was some growth that happened then. But I think that growth helped me pivot to this year's growth, which has been, it's getting real with myself. Okay, there's nobody that's asking me, how many clients did I talk to this month? What's my gross revenue so far this year, right? It's me asking myself those questions. And so what I did in January was I got deep with myself and I was, all right, what is this that I'm trying to do? What's the end goal here? And I talked with my husband about it. We're newlyweds. And so for us, we try to make a lot of decisions, especially together and meshing two different backgrounds. And for me, what I truly feel like I'm trying to do is build an empire. I want it to be the Juliet Cardona empire, where I can help people not only feel financially free, but empower them to take the steps to get them to that the top, right? To get them to that financial freedom place. So starting with my why is what gets me out of bed every morning. So there are days, of course, where I'm more tired than others and I'm going, it's a Wednesday and not a Saturday, darn it, right? But it reminds me to take a step back and say, all right, do you want to do this? Yes, I do. Always come to that conclusion, right? And then the next layer is, who am I doing it for, right? So who is that appointment on my calendar? It's not just an appointment, who am I meeting with today? And I think about that person and why they hired me. And doing that job for them is so important to me, right? It's something that I don't want to let them down. I want to make sure that they're taken care of. So those two things is where I channel my superpowers when I need them.
Superpowers. I love that.
My superpowers.
Superpowers. Okay, so
Not
what
guaranteed, anyone.
Right. We'll show them
My
to you next
superpowers.
week. Show up for Juliet's superpowers.
There you go.
So let me ask you, I want to make sure I heard this right. Your why is your empire.
Yes.
Okay. Now you know me and my F word.
Feelings.
Feeling into your empire. How is it going to
Mhm.
feel when you get there, whatever that means?
A breath of fresh air. That daily decision of, do I want to book appointments for the following week or take it off, right? So in some ways, I don't think it looks all that different from the life I'm living today. It's just that added peace of mind and belief, the peace of mind and the belief that I can choose not to earn a paycheck one day, right? So it's that empire having grown to a point where it doesn't need me to survive, right? Maybe the
Ooh.
empire is doing things on its own so that Juliet can be multiple places at once.
Oh, I like that. I like that. I like that. So the empire is a machine going to run on its own.
Yes.
I love that. That's so good. That makes me so exciting. So now when I went to the F word, you went to peace and fresh air. And I'm hearing like, even though you added more tasks and more stuff and a bigger thing, it's also less stress for you because you don't always have to be there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like knowing we've got a team that's backing me up to handle the different facets of said empire, right?
Yes, of said
whether that's
empire.
the financial part, right? Whether it's the family part, just having processes in place so that it doesn't take me specifically maybe overseeing at the highest level, right? But not that lower day-to-day level.
Yes, I
To me,
love
that's
that.
my end goal.
That means you're giving opportunity to other people as well.
Absolutely.
Which is what our country is all about, right? Yeah, that's totally great. I love that. I love that.
And to that point too, right? We can't do it by ourselves. right? We can't. I mean, without my amazing husband, there's no way. Well, I wouldn't say there's no way, but I would say it would be a lot harder to have persevered through this um, entrepreneurship. I mean, there's ups and downs like there is with anything, but having him to lean on and prop each other up. When my work speeds up in its busy season, maybe he helps out more with the cooking and vice versa, right? So, but again, it's a push and a pull. It can't be all push or all pull. That's something you helped me realize early on in my business, was realizing, okay, you got to take a step back and slow down. But
Yeah, I love this. If anybody out there, you've dealt with millennials coming into the workforce and they're bright-eyed, starry-eyed, big ideas and bushy tails, and then you step into the entrepreneur world where the year she came in was one of my biggest years ever. So I was like a chicken with my head cut off. And she was hilarious. She was like, well, why don't you just do this? Why don't you just, like, shut up, kid? Like, I can't do that right now. Like, shut up. Like, I'm going crazy. Like, it is so funny for it to turn back around and her coming back to me going, oh yeah, I totally get what happened now, because I'm doing the same thing. It's so great. And a lot of people, and I'm getting totally off subject right now, but we're all going to do this every week, y'all. This is what we're going to do, because this is what makes life interesting. We all have people in our life that drive us nuts. We all have that one person that maybe taxes you and your anger, your frustration level, your negative vibration, whatever it might be. I know we can all relate.
Mm-hmm.
When we have that in our life, and I've heard this said so many times in the workforce and working with other people and younger people and older people and male, female, and all the new pronouns now, I've heard a lot of people come in and say, I'm not sure how to do all of this. And they come with it with a negative point of view.
Mm.
And I want to commend you and I both, because and that it could be a God thing, a universe thing, a law of attraction thing, whatever it was. But I believe from the beginning, and Sherry at our old firm as well, Sherry, shout out, babe. Love you, Sherry Berry.
I love you, Sherry.
Love you, Sherry. We clicked from the get-go. And so we knew that this was a lifelong relationship, no matter what happened in the workforce, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we gave each other grace instead of anger, frustration, negativity. I believe we gave each other grace so that I knew that I was learning from you and you knew that you were learning from me. And I think that's my answer to that person that drives me crazy or taxes me, or any moms out there, dads out there, like our kids drive us crazy, right? No matter what age, like mine are 25 and 26 now. And we still get into tiffs and go crazy. But if we look at it with grace, and sometimes we can't do it. Sometimes we got to step away. But when we can, look at it with grace and what can I learn? Just like what you said, Juliet, what am I learning through this? Like, how can I help this client? What am I learning through this personal growth journey of entrepreneurship? I really do love that. How do you handle negative experiences in your life?
Well, I have to say it's a constant road to improvement.
Thank you. We all are, girl.
Yes, it's something that I've definitely spent a lot of personal energy, time working through, just because I used to have, something come up. And for me, the biggest bane to my existence, if you will, used to be, okay, get up in the morning, do my journal, have my tea or coffee, and then make my plan for the day. And then inevitably, right around, I don't know, pick a time, something comes up and the whole plan now is irrelevant because, maybe there's a client that needs access to their money right now, right? And so we've got to jump on the phone and handle trades and get the money so that they're okay, right? Or you pick it, right? And whatever it is derails that plan that we spent either tons of time developing or even just 5 minutes at the beginning of the day. And those little things, which as you can imagine are, maybe there's one at 10 a.m., 3 by 1 p.m., right? Those little things I used to let in. And I think the best way that I've found at least to handle those is to address them before they start. So getting intentional about what do I want out of today. And you helped me. I have to give you credit there too with getting into a meditation routine. I love Deepak Chopra. Can't give him enough shout outs. I call it my Deepak time. My husband even looks forward to me sticking one of those on in the first thing at night or before we go to bed or first thing in the morning, either one, sometimes both, a lot of times both. But it showed me that if I get up and I not only make that plan, but I also add something for myself, say, today I'm going to be maybe today, like today, my meditation was I'm going to give a little bit of extra love to every person that I interact with, right? So that comes to you and all of our beautiful listeners out there. And so I thought about that. I'm putting my makeup on, getting ready to chat with you and wondering, okay, like, what's my mission today? How do I give love to all these people and to you? Well, to you for having me. And then to all the people listening, right? I would say pass it on. Whether that's giving your spouse an extra hug when you walk in the door, giving your kids just an extra moment at the dinner table and saying, hey, I really, I love you. How was your day? And just showering them with that can be something that changes the whole course of your day. I've had it happen more times than I can count. So to me, it's just being open to whatever life is going to bring you. Maybe it's slowing down. Maybe you're going to get a flat tire, right? I've had that happen on my way to an important meeting. And I'm like, all right, well, the universe is telling me not today with that client. Like, I'm not going to make it. I'm waiting for AAA on the 580 or something, right? So it's something that I think it's always a work in progress. Did I actually answer that original question?
You did, and I highly agree. We're never going to be done with it, right? We're always going to be learning. We're always going to be doing better. And I feel like every 10 years I've done a different cycle of my life and learning and being where I'm at. And you're absolutely right. It's never done because I felt different in my 20s and my 30s and my 40s and in my 50s. And so we're always getting better and better. And I don't think we're ever going to get it done. So I love slowing down. Like you nailed it. Slow down, first of all, and then send them love. We have a fire engine going by. I always live next to a fire department. Just happens that way. Firefighters love you. Okay.
Didn't you used to be married? I'm just saying.
So
law of attraction.
Law of attraction. And so when we do that, when we give love, like you said, or grace, when we do encounter something negative, and then we have a synergy. So I'm going to bring that up now as well. So tell me about Georgia. First of all, let's just do a quick little intro. Tell me about Georgia.
Awesome. All right. Well, so Georgia,
you know where I'm going with this. So
I do. Georgia is my lovely horse. She's 17 years young. And I've had her about 10 years, and we used to do a lot of shows all over the West Coast. And she's my partner in crime in the horse world. And she was my why when I started my practice. I wanted to make enough money to afford her and to afford our lifestyle together. Mm-hmm.
That's good. I actually have a brand new client, and a horse is one of her goals. And so we will be talking with you to learn more, I'm sure. So I love, I'm like, oh,
happy
yay.
to help.
Yep. So anybody that loves equestrian, Juliet is your gal because she knows about all of that and a bag of chips. So here's the question as well. You suffered a negative experience with Georgia, and then I suffered a negative experience as well. So I'm going to let you talk a little bit, and then I'm going to talk, and then we're going to come together of giving our best tips on how to get through something like that. So go ahead and share a little bit. Because you know me, we got to get to the F word. We got to get underneath the covers.
Those feelings, let's dive right in.
Yeah, this is not just top level surface baloney. Like we get under the covers, girls. Okay, Go ahead.
Yes. So, in April of 2018, I'll never forget it. I wrote my biggest check to taxes that I'd ever written, probably maybe even the first like real one I wrote. That was on a Monday. And I was so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm paying taxes because I'm making money. This business thing is working. I'm a real entrepreneur. And now I'm saddling up my horse, sticking her in the trailer, and we're going to a show for the weekend. And we were competing in the highest level we'd ever competed together. So I was having all of these highs in my life, right? Like my relationship with my now husband was going great. My business is blowing up. I'm going to compete at the next highest level we've ever competed at together. And then I suffered a fall. And it was me and Georgia's fault. It was, just like, for lack of a better term, just a brain fart. We got to the third of the last fence of the whole weekend. We do jumping, and it's actually called 3-day eventing for you true equestrians out there. And I fell. And what happened was I fell down a bank. And when you go down a bank, the way just for speed, her face actually landed on my face because it was like a 3.5-foot drop into water. Oh. And I fell right beneath her because I was trying to stay on. And I've got the photos because, of course, if I'm going to, eat it at a show, it's going to be right in front of the photographer. So we had the photos, and her face literally lands on my lower face. So I broke some teeth. I wasn't looking pretty like today. Let's just say that.
I remember you said I broke my face. Like when I broke my face, that's literally what she referred, how you refer to it.
Yeah.
I broke my How long did it take you through that whole process to heal?
Oh God. Emotionally or on the outside?
Right.
Two
Both.
different things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I remember I got my teeth back. So I had to have like a brace, and then they put some like artificial bonding over what was left of my teeth. And it was the end of July that year. So it was 3 months where I was walking around, and it was cute. I had like a gray tooth. I was looking real cute. And I would say, gosh, I mean, at least a year.
Yeah, that's what
sometimes I still feel little triggers. It took me a while with the riding. Like anytime we'd get to the base of a fence, because she had stopped at the show, which she barely ever does. And anytime we were about to take off for a jump, I would feel that same like, okay, is it happening? I never had that question in my head before.
Yeah.
So repetition though. Repetition.
Well, and I
want
to commend you. I totally want to commend you, because if nobody's ever experienced this before, you don't know all of the layers and facets that this actually affects someone. So I remember you saying,
oh my gosh, just lunch meetings, right?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I'm going to have the soup and
yeah. And you still came in to work. Like you were scraped up. You had like, you were a mess, and you still are into work. And we're like, and you're like, oh, I'm fine. And it was just, you were just amazing. And then in January, I fell down and broke out my 2 teeth and scraped up my face this January. And I just got my teeth last week. So it's taken me 9 months.
By the way.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Nick Adario in Chula Vista, California, just saying he's amazing. I should charge him for that commercial. And I relied on you a lot. So here's our first tip. When you're going through something, call somebody else who's been there, done that. Do not do it yourself. Same with money. Do not do it yourself. I know there's a lot of people come to us and they think that they know how to do it, and they've done it on their own, which you can. You can YouTube it. You can CNN it. You can MSNB and CNC and all that, Bloomberg, and you can do all that. I'm telling you, when you have a partner helping with your money, it's so much easier and so much less stress. Like we are so worth it, I promise you. But the next thing is negative things. Going through a negative situation, reach out to someone who's already been there. Like I was so vulnerable and I didn't realize I had my PTSD came back. I had PTSD in the 90s. That all came back again. It just affected me in so many different levels. So we can go into that, a little bit deeper, because now we're getting close on time, but we'll do that again. I'm going to have you back, and we are going to talk about experiences like that and how we survive that, how we survive the grief, how we survive the PTSD, how we survive our
Yeah.
face. Like your face is like,
Right?
it's out there everywhere you go, right?
Well, and when you do what we do, right? I mean, I'm showing my face on camera right now. I would have been terrified to do that right after the
Right.
accident,
And
right? And
talking.
yours too.
Right.
Oh,
And
and talking, yeah.
couldn't even
And,
talk.
like, not spitting, like, at the same time. Like, I was just, terrified to eat in front of people.
Exactly,
Terrified.
exactly. Okay, we
Yeah.
are going to queue up a quick little commercial. I'm going to give you all a gift right now. And so Juan is going to play a quick little commercial, and then we're going to come back just for a quick minute or two, and I'm going to ask you your know for sure and your takeaways. So let's go ahead, Juan, if you want to cue that up and just hear our wonderful gift, our commercial that we got for you today, y'all.
Wait, the show isn't over yet. There's more fun and finances ahead. Jennifer will be right back as we have a special bonus offer for you right here on Rock My Finances, broadcasting live on K4HD Radio and Talk 4 TV.
Hey y'all, it's Jennifer Jost. Are you ready to transform your relationship with money? Rock My Finances Club is your weekly mastermind for wealth empowerment. Join me live for your personal weekly group video sessions and access your personal portal with the video library at any time, including your success system and way more bonuses. Go to rockmf.com for your financial empowerment. Make yourself a priority today. Schedule a chat with me at rockmf.com and achieve your feminine financial freedom finally. Oh, and don't forget to ask me how to save 50%. See you at our weekly mastermind.
Okay, Rock My Finances on K4HD and Talk 4 TV is back. Once again, let's put the fun in finance with your host and weekly friend, Jennifer Jost.
Okay, that was so fun. I can't wait. The Rock My Finances Club is so fun. We get on Zoom every single week and we are just doing breakthroughs like crazy. So it's so fun. Okay, back to you, Miss Juliet. We only have a couple minutes left.
Yep.
Going through everything you've been going through, this year has been crazy. New home, new marriage, new dog, new business, new staff. Oh my goodness, new hair. Like you've done everything, right? You look gorgeous, by the way.
Thank you.
Let me give me a couple. What do you know for sure right now?
What do I know for sure? I know that I'm building said empire to make an impact. The impact shifts at times, but I want to make an impact for our listeners, to our audience who wants to learn more about becoming financially free. Whether that's giving them tips and tricks or helping them physically implement a plan that gets them there. I want to make an impact.
Awesome. I love that word, impact. Know that for sure. That's awesome. Okay. Your biggest takeaway from today. How was the show?
Oh my gosh, this was so much fun. I think I may even be stealing potentially your takeaway, but you didn't ask. So yourself anyways. You said that we need each other to get through the good times and the toughest times. And that's my takeaway from our time together, is just realizing how valuable you are to me, and how much we rely on each other. And that's a gift. It's something that we have to put effort into. If we want to rely on each other when things are crappy, we got to be there when things are great too. So I think my takeaway is just, be there for your community, be there for your friends. Even if it's making a new friend, right? Just go out there and be supportive.
I love it. I love it. Don't go it alone, y'all. Come back here every Thursday and we'll share more with you. Juliet, you're so coming back, girl. You are so coming back. I love it.
I can't wait.
You have to, right? Hey, Juan, come on in and say, hey, our engineer, Juan, he's amazing in the background here. He's going to take us over. I think we're perfectly on time for our very first time here. So I'm pretty excited. Thank you all. I hope you come back. We're going to be live in so many different places. But I do want to engage with the audience. I'm going to want to listen to everyone's questions, and we'll be on Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn and all kinds of things. But I will be answering questions next week on the questions that I get this week. Thank you all for joining me. I truly appreciate your time. Juliet, I love you dearly, and I appreciate you as well.
It's mutual. Thank you for having me.
We appreciate you joining us today, and don't forget to subscribe to the Rock My Finances YouTube channel for more engagement and bonus content. Tell me, what is your money story? Let's find out with Jennifer, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, every Thursday right here on K4HD Radio and Talk4 TV. It's not about the zeros, it's about the F word, feelings. Feelings Jennifer can't wait to explore with you next week. Until then, let's all say, I rock my finances.